you know.
Lotharies, I have the perfect man who could take over.
Oh god, yeah, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Richard Ayoade.
Yeah, let's bring this up again.
Yeah, his name has been thrown out there again. You know,
I've only
the
seen
problem.
like
The problem
one
is,
tweet
right,
about this, to be honest. But yeah,
if he was cast, like, they can't cast him as the Doctor, because if they cast him as the Doctor, they wouldn't be able to throw his name out every single time there's a new Doctor
same
being
with Chris
announced.
Marshall. They cast him.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Like,
actually, I say that, but David Tennant.
True. Yeah, that is true. I mean, the thing is with Richard Ayoade, right? I said this actually on Twitter just today because someone had mentioned that he'd be perfect, and I quote tweeted it being like something to the effect of, casual Doctor Who fans, an actor plays nerdy character, casual Doctor Who fans, oh my god, they should be Doctor Who. And it's like, that is the vibe with Richard Ayoade. It's like, just because they play a nerd character doesn't automatically mean that they're like good Doctor material. There's a lot more to the Doctor as a character than I get
it in the sense of, like, yeah, his character and, like, the IT crowd. He's a bit eccentric, he has curly hair. That's, like, the two things that people go to. They're like, he could be Doctor Who. Like,
could he though?
It's like, the thing is, he's a really good comedy actor. Like, I'm not, like, you know, slanting the guy. It's just, like we're talking about Lydia West, he's not Doctor material.
Yeah. It's like, and obviously, you know, people are free to disagree with on that, but I just think for me, with a lot of the choices I've seen come out of the fan base, a lot of them just lack the presence and the authority that I feel like the Doctor needs. That's the major thing for me, like, because I think in later, like, sort of years, and it's not even in the show necessarily, but, like, I think to a certain degree, the fan base tends to Flanderize the Doctor as, like, this really, really nice, quirky person. And I think it probably started with Smith. Not that I'm saying it's Smith's fault, but I think there was an element of, like, uwu, cute, you know.
Yeah, the Tumblr crowd.
Yeah, that crowd, I think, has kind of changed the perception of the Doctor to a certain degree. But I think for me, it's like, a lot of those casts that come from those types of people miss the authority, which is something that is really, like, important to me. It's why Joe Martin, in my opinion, like, has worked where Jodie hasn't as much, is because immediately, as soon as she comes on screen, she has that authority. And, you know, you listen to her and you are drawn to her. And that's why, for me, things like a Lydia West or like a Richard Ayoade, from what I've seen of them, I just don't see the authority or the presence there. And I think even, to be fair, Richard Ayoade has admitted, you know, I am not, you know, I'm quite a limited, like, actor. I think he's admitted that before. And I agree. I think the range probably isn't there. And it's...
I think he's more into directing now anyway.
Yeah,
like, acting's not even, like, his main thing anymore.
I watched, funny enough, a few years ago in media, I watched one of the things he directed. I can't remember what it was called now, but it was quite good. He's a good director. Yeah, for the life of me, I can't think of what it's called now, but it was a good film, and he did a good job. Okay. It actually had Joanna Page in, who was Maria in Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh, nice.
And it was, like, all set in, like, Wales. It was well done, but yeah. But no, I just don't see Richard Ayoade at all. And it's like, you know, I get it with these Doctor castings, you can only go off of, like, what you've seen, which is kind of like, for me, one of my Doctor castings is Nicholas Hoult. Like, I've seen him in a couple of things, think he might be able to do it. But then again, you know, another one is Tanya Miller, because I've seen her be able to show that authority.
I think my ideal, like, Doctor casting would probably be Ruth Wilson for similar reasons. She has the authority, but she's also really good with, like, working with children and her dynamic, like, there.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain, like, I don't know, I think there's a certain, like, magical quality to her acting.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it.
No,
she's kind of otherworldly, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think you need that. You need someone who just has a look about them that's not quite fully, like, human. Like, that's really weird to describe. But they have to have a vibe where it's like, you're a bit different from, the average person. And I think, yeah, that's kind of, what I think another example that I've brought up before now is Carl Urban, who played Billy the Butcher in The Boys. In that show, he's a very crazed sort of character. He's kind of mental. But, I could very much see him doing like a mixture between like 4 and 12 kind of thing of like a very eccentric but very like heightened and just mental sort of Doctor, which I think would be a really interesting way to take it. But yeah, like, obviously we all have our different preferences, but I do hope that... And obviously, Russell, I have no doubt he'll cast someone great. But obviously, naturally, with some of these castings, I'm always a bit like, like, I trust RTD, I don't trust the fan base, if that makes sense. That might sound horrible, but I don't even trust myself to cast the Doctor, admittedly. If I was left to do it, I probably would do a bad job. But, like, that's why we're not the showrunner, and, they are, at the end of the day, like...
Well, I found this article from last month, which lists 10 different actors for the 14th Doctor.
I'll click on it now.
I've just sent it over your way.
Yeah, I've just seen this now. I'll click on it.
And I thought it would be fun to go through them and, give our opinions.
Yeah.
Some of them we have briefly talked over, like, during this podcast.
Right.
Starting off with David Tennant.
Oh, man.
Of course.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, right, with like, David Tennant. He shouldn't be the 14th Doctor. I'm going to say that outright now. If they were to do that, that would be the ultimate admission that we haven't got a clue what to do with this show, so we're going to bring him back to be the Doctor again. If they brought him back as the 10th Doctor for a couple of specials, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
As 14, though, no. Like, that would be the ultimate sort of... kicking your heels. I have no idea what to do here. Let's just go
David
back
Tennant
to the
wouldn't do it
people
either.
Like, yeah, I feel like
he's
David
too much of a fan of it. Yeah,
David would be like, this doesn't feel like a good idea. Doctor Who needs to move forward, and I'd agree. But yeah, I've mentioned the David Tennant one before. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
We've also mentioned Ollie Alexander, who's up next.
Again, it's like I've seen clips of It's a Sin, and I've seen him in an interview, and it's nothing against him. I just
he is really good in it. It's just that thing of I cannot see him playing the Doctor.
Again, it's the lack of authority, and it's kind of I know he's probably I think he's younger than
he's
Lydia
West. He's a much more fun, bubbly kind of presence.
I could definitely see him as a companion, or something like that. Again, but like the Doctor needs that command of the screen, and I'm just not sure Ollie has that, really. And the same goes with, as we said next, Lydia West.
Yeah, Lydia West.
Yeah, no, like, I get why people want her. Again.
Yeah, she's a good actress, but yeah, we have kind of spoken about it. Like, I can see it from, obviously, It's a Sin. Her performance in that was really good. And she could, like, outprove us, like, if she was cast in a role.
Yeah.
Or prove us wrong, I should say.
Yeah, but largely I'm not convinced at the moment. If RTD did cast her, I'd assume that, okay, he's seen something in her that I haven't. That, perhaps hasn't been seen before. And you know what? If he was able to make it work, then power to it. But right now, I'm kind of like, yeah, again, more of a companion than a Doctor to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd say I'd still recommend you watch It's a Sin.
I do need really to. I'm sort of working through a back catalogue of shows and films at the minute, and It's a Sin is high up on the list. But yeah,
nice.
I guess next then again, It's a Sin. Omari Douglas. Now, I haven't seen much of It's a Sin, so you might have to lead with this one.
Yeah, I don't remember his character in It's a Sin.
Right. Okay.
Unless I'm just being really dumb and he's like one of the main ones, but
could you see
from mind he's not jumping out. I don't know because I can't think how he is in that.
Okay.
Which is quite annoying.
I
think the only thing I would have seen him in is It's a Sin, like it says, My Children.
From look, obviously, if we're basing it just off that, I think he has more of a Doctor vibe than maybe Ollie does. I'm not sure. That's hard to describe. Like what a Doctor vibe is.
It's weird to just like look at someone and be like, yeah, You have the Doctor vibe.
You do kind
but
of
I
have
do
to
get
picture it, though, don't you? You have to, like,
Yeah.
imagine them stood in front of a TARDIS in a sort of suit and be like, could you see that? And I think with him, I probably could more than Ollie, but, you know, that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then...
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen. Now, I would genuinely be happy with Michael Sheen. Now, I know...
Michael Sheen as the Doctor, I'm not sure. Michael Sheen as someone like the Monk? I'd be up for that. I could see him playing like a Time Lord character. The Doctor, I'm not so sure.
I think I could see him.
I do really like Michael Sheen, and I could see him play the Doctor. I think I'd prefer him as like someone like the Meddling Monk, or just one of them more like unknown like Time Lord characters.
It would make the Doctor Welsh. And for me,
that is true.
That's all. That's all they need. No, but it would, like, I think for me, like, obviously he played House in Doctor's Wife as well.
Yeah,
and he was quite. He's definitely got the range. I think, personally, I think he does have the range.
I would agree though.
From what I've seen,
he's a very good actor.
So I wouldn't be opposed to it. Again, though, there is kind of, as you mentioned, the optics of like another older, white male straight after Jodie. But again, it's kind of interesting. If you notice, before Russell was announced, a lot of the main rumours were like non-white male actors. And then after he was announced, I've noticed there's been more of a inclination towards certain tabloids to go towards white male actors. It's a pattern I've noticed, specifically with the next one, Danny Dyer.
This one makes no sense to me. I do not understand the people that are pushing for Danny Dyer to be the next Doctor.
Like, I've seen, because Danny Dyer recently has been doing...
It sounds like something that, like, would have started out as a meme, and people on Twitter have run with it.
I have seen him in that new game show he hosts, The Wall, I think it's called, where you've got to, like, there's, like, a bunch of balls, and you've got to, get as much money as you can. And he's very charismatic in his own way. Doctor, though, I don't see it. Like...
Yeah, he comes across more as just, like, a guy.
And maybe
he's too, like,
that'd be an
just
interesting...
like a guy you'd find down the pub.
Perhaps arc for the Doctor, though, to be a bit less... Kind of like Chris Eccleston, I guess. Be a little less scholarly, a little less traditional. But then I suppose, at the same time, I do think he'd be a hard sell. And I haven't really seen him act someone that would like attempt
to like punch the Daleks.
It would be quite funny. I could definitely see him. Daleks. I probably could see him more as like a side character, more than I could the main Doctor. Like, you know how like Absalom Dak exists? I could see him occupying that sort of role, being like the sort of the like if he was to be a character in the show, he'd be more of a let's shoot things character than a let's be the pacifist Doctor character. Okay, and then
Tanya Miller, which is the one that honestly, like, of these so far, I'd be very happy with this.
If they do go for it, as I said, if they do go for a female Doctor again, would be my choice probably. Yeah, like
she is great. I'm trying to think what else I've seen her in, because obviously years and years.
It's mostly years and years. She does play like the general in Series 9, doesn't she, as well, briefly?
Yeah. She plays the general.
She's done loads of things, though. I've seen her in a couple of the things as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head what they are. But yeah, no, from what I've seen of her, if they were to go...
I think just from watching that alone, is like she's like proven that she's definitely capable of pulling off a role like the Doctor. Absolutely. At least in my head.
I think so. Yeah. If they were to go with her for like the next Doctor, I think obviously that's going to be people going, oh no, to everyone that they cast, every possible casting. But I think the large voice would be cool. At least from the non-bigoted sections of the community at the very least. And then we'll speak.
Their opinions don't matter.
Speaking of friends of Tanya Miller, kind of a current Doctor even still, Joe Martin. Now, this is an interesting one, isn't it? For a few reasons.
Yeah, because I think it's one that I want her to have more content, but as the 14th Doctor, it wouldn't really make sense.
This is the thing.
At least from the continuity that's been set up. It's like, Joe Martin I really want to have a series. And see if Russell even did something like, okay, we're going to, like, here's a Joe Martin series, and then, like, we have the 14th Doctor afterwards. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would actually be really cool.
I think my thing is, right, and I've said this a couple of times, with Joe Martin, I absolutely agree. Her Doctor deserves more content, 100%. But
yeah,
the whole point of a new era is to get on board new people. And if you were to make Joe Martin the next Doctor, or somehow make the Fugitive Doctor the one after Jodie or something, like, it would just open up a whole can of worms.
You're right, yeah.
That, like, I'm just not sure, A, the general public are gonna vibe with, and B, Russell's gonna want to deal with his first series as showrunner again. And unfortunately, it's a situation with Joe Martin where, like, it is kind of Chris Chibnall's responsibility to do something with her, and, like, as much as I want to see more with her, I don't think it's Russell's responsibility to do it. I understand why people want her as 14, but I still think, ultimately for me, the responsibility of giving Joe Martin material lies with Chris Chibnall, and the fact that she hasn't had it is more his fault than it is the responsibility of Russell, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, it's just really sad that, like, Joe Martin was cast. You know, she's obviously first female Doctor of colour, first Doctor of colour,
and quite good as
and
well.
It's like, very, from what we've seen, very good, and she is a side character essentially.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
It's a bit, it is a real shame, because she, like, talking to her at, like, Comic-Con and stuff, it's like, she is a genuine fan and loves the role. Like, she was embracing the fandom. She stayed a bit later and, like, talked to, like, me and Dom and stuff. And
yeah, no, she seems lovely as well. I do genuinely feel bad, honestly, because it feels like she does deserve more. But I just don't know whether 14 is the right place to have that.
Yeah, I think if Russell does do the whole cinematic world thing where it's like, I could see her. Well, I'd hope we could possibly see something like a mini-series or, like, a spin-off type thing. Just kind of covering, like, different, like, elements of Doctor Who. I think that would be really cool.
It was somewhat
This is definitely something...
Yeah.
It's definitely something Big Finish is going to jump on as soon as the Chibnall era, like, ends.
Yeah.
You could definitely see fugitive, like, audios.
It was somewhat interesting, actually, because while we're on the topic of Joe Martin's Doctor, they announced some comics with Titan, and that they are apparently supposed to explore how the Fugitive Doctor became a fugitive. And I did see the overwhelming response was this should have been explored in the TV series. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think it's kind of become a meme in the Doctor Who community, right? When something in the TV show isn't explored, being like, oh, Big Finish will fix it later, don't worry. And I get that that's a meme, but at the same time, I don't feel like it should always fall to the spin-off media to give the show substance. I feel like that should just be an optional extra, not the whole substance.
To be honest, the spin-off media are probably thriving off it. They're like, oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just mean from, like, a story perspective, I don't think it should be the responsibility of... Again, it comes back to that whole thing.
No, of course
there should be substance there originally, and then the spin-offs can add to that. Whereas at the moment, at least with things like Joe Martin, it feels like the spin-offs are the substance, which is kind of like a shame, because
she's essentially been a shock character and then, like, 2 further cameos.
And it's like, I know we're probably going to get a cameo in the Centenary, but I don't know how much that's going to achieve.
I see her having a bigger role in the Centenary, because she did say she was working alongside Dewan.
True.
Like, okay.
It would be cool. It's going to be probably neat to see her meet the Master. That'll probably be cool if that does happen. But yeah.
But it's just that thing, though, like Chibnall and
if Joe Martin,
finales and over-cramming them. It's like, how much time can he really dedicate?
Yeah.
Like,
if Joe Martin hadn't already been cast, and her name was being thrown around... Maybe I'd go, yeah, let's do it. Joe Martin, she'd be joining the similar ranks of Tanya Miller. I could see it. But there's just too much there that acts as complications that I just don't know whether Russell will want to deal with. I get unless they do a spin-off series.
It's sad, but I get it.
So then, after that, Michaela Cole. We haven't spoken about Michaela Cole on this podcast. Here's the thing. I think she's too accomplished for Doctor Who at this point. Like, she's written...
I've only seen her in Black Mirror.
Yeah, I think she's written multiple, like, BAFTA award winning or nominating things, though. She wrote, what was it called? She got nominated for something, and I can't remember what it's called now, but she's
I suppose for what you were saying, so, like, giving that new era the boost.
I guess, but would someone who's just written I May Destroy You, that was it. But if someone's already written a BAFTA-winning show, would they want to take on a lead character?
That is true.
Where they'd be making, like, they'd have to move to Cardiff, and they'd be making, like, a couple $100,000 a year. Like, I just don't see her wanting that. And, like, obviously, I haven't seen her in an awful lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
How is she in Black Mirror?
I think she's really good. This is someone that I totally could see taking on the part. I just don't see it as, like, a realistic
possibility
thing. Yeah.
Someone,
she definitely has that presence. She definitely, she's a good actress from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. It's just, she's probably not going to dedicate her time to something like Doctor Who.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is with Hugh Grant, right? Obviously, a lot of people said he was a big name, and he is, but, like, he's nowhere near as big a name as he was in his prime, so that's why, for me, the whole Hugh Grant thing had a bit of, like, that makes sense. Because he's recognisable enough to the general public, but he's not so recognisable that, like, he's unattainable, at least in my opinion. Kind of similar to Peter Capaldi in a sense, where a lot of the British public at least knew who Peter Capaldi was before he took on the role, but he wasn't so famous that him taking on the Doctor was, an unlikely prospect. Like, and I think, for me, Hugh Grant did, at least until he said it wasn't happening, occupy a similar spot. Whereas with Michaela Cole, she's a rising talent. She's had, she's been BAFTA award winning, for her writing. I just can't see it personally. Speaking of someone else I can't see,
I've not seen this person in, like, anything.
Okay, so Rhys Ifans was guy in Harry Potter. I think he played, like...
Oh, yeah. He's also been in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Luna's dad, and he was also... he was also the lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man films.
All right. Yeah, I didn't recognize him from his photo.
Yeah, no, he was also the lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man films. But yeah, he's too big. Too big, I would say. He's been in, Hollywood projects fairly recently.
He's too big, and I think he's also he has that similar thing with Hugh Grant for me, where it's like he comes across a bit too posh.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think I probably could see
Maybe
it.
It's just his accent. I don't know.
I think I probably could see it, but again, I think it's a case of he's just too big. I think I could be wrong.
I didn't know he was Welsh.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think that the surname Ifans is probably. It sounds very Welsh, I suppose. So I guess that's probably quite.
I'm not too familiar with your culture.
Yeah, no, he is Welsh though, and I'd love a Welsh Doctor on the throne. I think it's about time we had one, and maybe we will, but I just can't see Rhys Ifans at all. I think he's too big.
Hashtag Tharies for 14.
Yeah. Well, I'd also be in a wheelchair, so that's two new demographics the Doctor hasn't represented. So, Russell.
The TARDIS redecorates with stairs despite you.
Russell, you know where I am. I'm just down the road. If you want to offer it to. No, I'm joking, of course. We already spoken about...
Yeah, but you won't be offering it to you because you'll be offering it to Richard Ayoade, who's next on the list.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Definitely.
We could probably just title this clip just 10 actors who won't be Doctor Who.
That would be good, yeah. It's not going to be Richard Ayoade. Like, people need to stop willing it into existence. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've seen a bit of Akuruti Tea Crowd. I've also seen him in The Crystal Maze. I get...
Oh, yeah.
From an outside... Like, if you're not intimately familiar with Doctor Who, I get it, right?
I think if you saw a picture of him, like, from The Crystal Maze, and, he's got that kind of eccentric look. He kind of plays a bit of a quirky character.
If you just...
I feel like from an outside...
Yeah, on the surface, he does look a bit Doctor-y, but he just doesn't have the layers, like Shrek, like the onions. He just doesn't have the layers, It's like, there's not, I just don't think he's got the range to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like, I just can't imagine him delivering, like, epic speeches. Can you?
No.
No, I just can't. Because this is what you got to think about with doctors. You've got to imagine them in certain scenarios, and I just can't imagine. Like, imagine, like, the war speech in, like, Zygon Inversion with Richard Ayoade doing it. It just wouldn't hit. You know?
Yeah, because he does have a very distinct voice as well. Like, he does a lot of voice acting roles in, like, animated films, and he's very noticeable. Like,
having a distinct voice for the Doctor is good. I just don't know whether his voice is the right one.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then next up we have Lenny James. Now I don't know much about.
Yeah, I've not seen him in. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
He was in Walking Dead and Line of Duty, apparently.
Yeah, I have not seen either of these two shows.
I know very little about this actor, so if any of you know anything about Lenny James, let us know in the comments below. That also goes for Lucy Lawless for me as well.
I've heard of the name. I've definitely heard the name.
They say Xena Warrior Princess, Battlestar Galactica. Those are pretty big shows, though, aren't they? Or maybe they're not.
Yeah, I think I might have seen her as like Xena Warrior Princess, like back in the day.
How old is she? I can't really tell from.
I'm not. Does it say it? I'm not 100% sure.
Thing is, a lot of these suggestions as well. If you look at the article, it's kind of just like this one Doctor Who actor said, "Oh, I think they'd be a decent choice." Because Matt Smith recommended Reese Fans and stuff like that. Like, and that's the thing as well. You know, not just because someone says these might be alright doesn't mean they actually would be. You know?
Oh yeah, very little research has went into this article. It's just, hey, this person's like been rumoured, or
one of the actors.
Or this person's a bit quirky.
Yeah. And again, like Vicky McClure here.
Vicky McClure is someone that I could kind of see in the role.
I could see it, but
I've seen bits of her in Line of Duty. I've obviously seen her in Broadchurch. She's great in This Is England.
She's very accomplished, but she's also doing a lot at the moment already. Like she's doing I
can't see her doing.
Yeah,
I can't see her doing it because of like just how much work she already has currently. It's like stuff like Line of Duty and the whatever this other new show is. Like these are some of the biggest like
shows on British television.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't want to give those up for Doctor Who.
Something that to move
has a big fan base. It would admittedly it's still kind of a bit more risky than like something like Line of Duty that's got that just really, really strong hold over the British public, it seems.
I just think Vicky McClure could pull it off, though.
Probably.
She definitely has that vibe.
I haven't seen her in a lot. Like, I've seen, bits of Line of Duty and the new ITV one, and she's a strong actress. I just haven't... I don't know whether I've seen enough to make a properly informed...
That's fair, yeah.
Call either way. I definitely think... If you think so, though, I'd be willing to believe you, I guess, and be like, yeah.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a name that gets brought up a lot.
I would like her to write a story, maybe.
Yeah, I personally don't know whether I see.
Yeah.
Her
I've always seen some of Fleabag. I need to finish that. I've not seen Killing Eve.
Yeah, I mean, again, same with Killing Eve. I end up seeing a lot of clips of TV shows more than I do actual episodes. Because you go on like a rabbit hole, but like Killing Eve's good, but I haven't seen her from what I've seen, but I haven't seen her in a lot of it. So
yeah.
That's
the thing. I've not seen enough of her work to be like, yes, she'd be a good cast. I don't know. I've heard she's really good in both. I think I would prefer to like if she was approached to like write a story.
Yeah.
Then because I know she does a lot
of
writing.
It's the same thing with that like what I would have with what was the one that I said was like Michaela Cole would be one, but also someone else who I said would probably be a better writer than they would the Doctor. But yeah, I think you're right. She would probably fit into that category.
Yeah.
And then we have...
Oh no, I've just seen the next name.
everyone's favourite not Doctor, Chris Marshall. The man who's been...
Why is he on this list?
I don't know.
This isn't like a list from like a few years ago.
Again, I think he occupies the same space as Ayoade for me, where it's like, if you don't know much about Doctor Who, or like you're sort of a casual
I
viewer,
don't know. I don't know so, because the Chris Marshall rumors started in like 2017. That was the first time that we. Like,
I don't know. I feel like Richard Ayoade's been.
Yeah.
While.
Richard Ayoade's been someone that's like every single time like a new Doctor. It's like yes. Chris Marshall, the thing, at least there were things that aligned with him, because it was like Death in Paradise was just wrapping up or something. So I saw it a bit more.
I will say, like, I watched, because obviously the Hugh Grant rumor, right? So I'll watch Love Actually.
Yeah.
So I watched Love Actually the other day. And I will say, like, he plays quite a cheeky character in that. So, kind of like, I did get a bit of, like, certain Tennant-y vibes. But again, I think it's very one note, and I don't know whether he'd have the range to do the more intense stuff, you know?
Yeah. Chris Marshall is just someone that he's not playing the Doctor. He's come out and said at the time he's not doing it.
It's just cursed at this point.
Stop throwing.
Like,
he's a meme. He's a Doctor Who meme at this point. It's like we'll throw him on the list alongside David Tennant.
Yeah.
It's like
it's like that Five Who fans clip. I was so doctory.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
the most like white bread actor.
The idea of him being the Doctor has just forever been tainted, and it would never happen now.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so many like just photoshops. I bet if you just set up Chris Marshall Doctor Who, you'll just get a bunch of cursed photoshops of him in front of the TARDIS that articles have made.
And
Kelly MacDonald.
Kelly MacDonald's next, and she's also in Line of Duty, as far as I understand.
She's another one that I really like.
I remember her being rumoured a while back. Actually, like one of the tabloids said that she was in the fray, and maybe
I think
it's.
Yeah, I think she'd be pretty good.
Yeah, was she?
Again, though, I guess it's like a similar thing, though.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess it's like just a similar thing though with like Vicky, where it's like
too busy.
Is she still and
in demand, and
is she available? Yeah, and is she going to leave something that's paying that well to you?
And is that popular as well for something that's admittedly slightly more not like niche but like risky? Because like Doctor Who has the potential, don't get me wrong, to be a massive show again, but Line of Duty already is like. It already is, and I know that it's. I
guess so. Doctor Who has the thing of like, I feel like Line of Duty in a few years, it's not something that people go back to. It's very current TV. Whereas like Doctor Who has like,
I suppose from an actor's perspective, it's kind of like a roulette table. Like you have the chance to be the David Tennant, if you like, the hero of the nation. Everyone loves Doctor Who, or you could end up. In more of a the stereotype of like Peter Capaldi, Jodie Whittaker type Doctor, where you've still got your fans, no doubt, but there is definitely an element of.
The problem is once you're cast as a Doctor, you're instantly like compared to the others, and it's like, okay, are you better than this one? Are you?
Yeah, you know? And I kind of feel like some that's just too much pressure, which I don't really blame them, to be honest. Like, at least initially, that would be quite daunting, being compared to like 13 previous actors. Like, that probably would be quite scary. Some of which is like the best talent in the UK. It's like you probably would feel quite good at it. But yeah, she's already quite in demand, so I don't know whether.
Yeah, I feel like if she did take the role, it's something that I guess similar to David Tennant now is that when you look at him, he is and always will be the Doctor, but he does have other massive roles to like fall back on. So it's like, you know, he's an actor in his own mind, as opposed to when you think of someone like some of the classic Doctors, it's like they are, you know, mainly just known as the Doctor. I feel like Kelly has like stuff like Train Spotting, Line of Duty and stuff, so even if she was the Doctor, I feel like she wouldn't be pigeonholed.
Yeah, she'd have that Capaldi, I think, as well. Capaldi, for me, as that kind of thing, where it's like, he is still, he was an accomplished actor before Doctor Who, he's an accomplished actor after Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You know, like, and an accomplished director, I guess, as well, because I think he's directed a few things. But yeah, and then finally, Matt Berry. Another
similar thing with who was it? Michael Sheen for me. I want to see him as someone like the Monk.
Yeah,
I think he'd be more of like a good kind of comedy character. I've seen a lot of people
suggest Matt Berry, and I've seen clips of him. He's funny.
It's weird. I could see him as the Doctor. Kind of, but it's weird because I could also see him as the Master. It's like I could kind of see him as like almost all Time Lord characters.
Yeah.
But I think he would fall more into that more comedy, like I don't know, bombastic kind of character.
I think I could see it. I think he would take
kind of like a swashbuckling.
I think
character.
he would take some convincing for me though. Like it would be like he'd have to like knock it out of the park for me to be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
I've seen him in both the IT Crowd and Toast of London.
Rebecca TV, when she was there, she showed me a bit of I think it was Toast of London she showed me, but
okay.
Yeah. I think he probably could be alright. I just need to be convinced, I think.
Yeah,
I'd definitely give it a chance though. Like I would with whoever gets cast. I'm always going to give whoever gets cast.
I don't think he'd be my go-to choice by like any means, but it's like I wouldn't be upset.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it would be an interesting choice. It wouldn't be the obvious, go-to choice. I think Hugh Grant kind of is that, like, not stereotypical, but like he makes sense. And it's like kind of the logical choice, and maybe they'll want to go with someone a bit more left field and out there, and maybe Matt Berry would fit that a bit more. I don't know.